All right, so if you're raising a teenager, you know this feeling, right? That constant push and pull. You want to give them freedom, of course you do, but you also want to keep them safe. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that can help you do both. It's called loving limits, and it's all about how these limits actually build the architecture of your teen's freedom.
And I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? How can setting rules, which is basically the definition of restriction, end up giving your teenager more freedom? It's a paradox for sure, but it's one that really holds the key to building a strong foundation for their future. So, what exactly are these loving limits? Well, it's a pretty simple but actually a really profound idea. We're talking about boundaries that are set not to control, but to create a secure foundation. Think of it like sturdy ground. It's the solid place they can safely leap from as they go out and explore the world. And I love this metaphor. I want you to think of yourself as an architect. You're not a police officer or a rule enforcer. No, you're an architect, and you're carefully, lovingly building this safe, sturdy nest for your teen. See the shift? It's not about restriction, it's about construction. Okay, so what's the blueprint for this nest we're building? To really get it, we need to dive into the psychology of it all. Why do teenagers actually need these clear boundaries to begin with? This really gets to the core of what it's like to be a teenager. It's this constant tension. On one hand, they are absolutely wired to test the limits, to push for their independence. But on the other hand, deep down, they're craving the profound security that firm boundaries give them. It's this dual need, this tug of war, that makes our job as architects so incredibly important. And here's the bottom line, the core principle. Clarity creates security. Ambiguity, well, that just creates anxiety. Think about it. When a teen knows exactly where the lines are, it makes their world predictable. It's calming. It's like a safe harbor for them in the middle of that emotional storm that is the teenage brain. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. Listen to this. It's from a real person, a participant in a workshop who was always struggling with being on time. After the person leading it set a really firm rule, they said they didn't feel angry or attacked, they felt relief. It was like something just clicked into place and they could finally relax. See, the ambiguity was gone. That's the gift of clarity we can give our kids. Okay, but to build this secure nest, we actually have to make a shift inside ourselves first. And that brings us to something called the protective parent mindset. It's all about changing our goal from control to protection. And this distinction is absolutely crucial. Let's look at the two side by side. A mindset of control, well, the goal there is to restrict behavior. And what does that lead to? Almost always conflict and resentment. It feels like a power struggle. But a mindset of protection, the goal is just to ensure safety. And that builds trust, it builds cooperation, because it comes from a place of care, not a desire for power. So, what's our job in all this? Let's go back to that architect metaphor. Our role is to provide the scaffolding for their journey. Like the scaffolding on a building while it's being built. It's there for support, and it's temporary. It's meant to be taken down when they're strong enough to stand on their own. It's about support, not building a cage. All right, so we've got the why, we've got the right mindset. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. It's time to open up the architect's toolkit and look at a real framework for communication. Here's a super practical, step-by-step guide. First, and this is the most important, you initiate with love. You make it clear, I am on your side, I'm doing this because I care about you. Second, be crystal clear and specific. State the exact rule and, importantly, the reason for it. Third, communicate the consequences ahead of time. No surprises, no gotchas. And finally, and this is key, be consistent, but don't be rigid. You have to uphold the rules, but you also have to let them grow as your teen shows you they can handle it. And that last point is so important. This is not a static, set-in-stone system. The whole idea is that as they show you they're responsible, as they build that trust with you, you can start to loosen the reins, little by little. And this teaches them one of the most vital lessons of growing up. Freedom is earned. Their good choices directly lead to more independence. So, what's the whole point of all this careful work, of being this architect? I mean, it's not just about surviving the teenage years, right? The real goal is about building a principled adult. That is a long-term gift of loving limits. And look, this isn't just wishful thinking. The research on this is really clear. Teens who are raised with these kinds of loving limits consistently have better outcomes. We're talking better academic performance, safer driving habits, and they're way less likely to get into risky behaviors. The data really tells a powerful story here.
And this is such a great way to picture the whole internal process that's happening. See, it all starts with your external voice of wisdom. You're the one guiding them, setting that framework, and it ends with them developing their very own internal compass. Your voice, your guidance, it literally gets internalized. It becomes their own conscience, their own ability to manage themselves. They learn how to navigate the world on their own, guided by the principles you help them build. And that, right there, is the end game. The ultimate goal is to raise an adult who can set their own healthy boundaries for themselves, who can navigate the world with a strong sense of who they are, and who knows how to protect their own well-being. That is the true measure of success. So, the question is, how do we put all this into practice right now? I'm going to leave you with something to think about. What is one boundary, just one, that you can build or maybe rebuild from a place of pure love this week? Remember, even a small step can make a huge difference.